Sometimes my mum and dad used to keel over and die. This meant that my brother had to babysit me. He hated it because I just wouldn't go to school when he told me to. He was horrible. Well, actually, he still is. He'd shout, he'd rant and rave, "Will you go to school?" But I never went until I heard the front door open with mum and dad coming back from the dead. And then that's when my brain starts doing things. You know, survival stuff. Anyway, I'll tell you what I do. I ran and jumped on my transport. It was 12:30 and I had to get to school. At school, Haribo said his babysitter was terrifying, so he didn't know what to say. Dave said, "My brother died." So everyone said, "Hard luck, Dave." And Dave said, "I was only saying." And then he started crying. Later that day, an electronic pizza came in. He had a moustache. There we all were, breathing very, very quietly. The sloppy, cheesy pizza looked at our teacher. Really good. And he said,
"Michael, I know you're there. Michael, it's
prison
time."
He starts up a chant in this spooky voice. "Go to prison, go to prison." And it went on for ages. Our teacher, Miss Goodall, said he's hypnotised.
And I say, "Shut up, Stinks. You can't rule my life."
Haribo was sitting in front of me and I saw him snort and start giggling. "Good." The pizza said, "You're right, quite right." And he just fell over and died. Miss Goodall looked like she had never seen anything quite so horrible in all her life. But, and this is a big Viking but, I was delighted. Later that day, I said, "I can rap." So he said, yeah, I bet you can't." I said, "Okay, playtime." So playtime, we all went onto the playground. I said, "Right, I'm giving you all the Michael Rosen gang and rap. When I was 1, I soiled the English Channel. When I was 2, I popped up my brains. When I was 3, I started getting thinner. When I was 4, I ate my brother. When I was 5, I was in a gang doing drugs. When I was 6, I ate a bag of toenails. When I was 7, I robbed a granddad with my gang. When I was 8, I became the fiercest gangster in the world. When I was 9, I closed all the prisons. When I was 10, they made me Burger King for dinner. There was silence. And then suddenly, Dave said, "Horrible, waste of time." And I cried. Well, actually, I shoved Dave really hard and fast, and he bangs against the wall. Kaboom! Oh no! There's Dave's brains. Margot Vane said, "Black magic." Anyway, Miss Goodall was trying very hard not to look absolutely furious. She screamed, "Quick! Get Dave out of here!"
And I say,
"Fill my mouth with that thick, sweet brain juice." Finger in, lick it. Tastes nice. It was slippery and sticky, so I drank the lot. Nice. Not long after, Dave goes and stands up. He just stands up. Margot Vane said, "Really? Black magic." And he looks at us, all fed up, and he says, "Brains." Oh no! The moment I dread when Dave goes from being dead to absolutely starving. I don't believe it. I really don't. Suddenly, there was an awful yelling and crying and someone shouting, "Keel over and die, Michael Rosen." I shouted out, "Get off me! That's my brain." That's when Dave starts doing fiddle stuff with my brain. He stuffs a great big blade of a knife in there. Fiddle diddle, riddle diddle. And yes, it melted. Yes. And then that really does it. If you don't stop it, I'm going to put you out the school and leave you by the side of the science museum. Do you understand? It's no good. He can't. He says, "Look, this isn't fair. You started it." I don't care who started it. I really don't. Do we fiddle with Michael Rosen's brains at school? No. Why? Yes, it is because I'm really hot. But there's another reason, isn't there? Yes, Warren. Because I can legalize drugs. Miss Goodall popped out the window and says, "No drugs." It was then she noticed Dave, mouth open, eyes staring, hunting for drips of brain syrup. Oh no! And that's when we get into really big trouble. Out, school, prison, and yes, 48 years later, I escaped. Do you know, people say to me, if that's true, how come you're still really hot? Fair enough, and I'll tell you, it's because when I was at school prison, I read in a book that thick cooking oil is a fantastic skin cream. So now I go and dribble oil all over my skin till it's slippery and sticky. Ah, wonderful. Aren't you? The oil was really hot. Oh no, this is horrible. So now my skin came off in soggy lumps and I just fell over and died. Yeah. Anyway, so that's why I'm hot. Really, really hot. It's hurting.